Hello and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and this is a redo of an introduction that I literally originally filmed so long ago. I'm talking like December 2018 and it is now January 2020 and I just never made the rest of that video that I started all that time ago, and then I broke my hard drive so I lost the footage anyway. So we're doing a complete do-over. This video was inspired by a comment from Laura Abbd, who has given me so many fun video ideas. I did the video where I reread my favourites because of her. I did the video where I read bestsellers from the day that I was born because of her. And this time she made a comment about rereading books that I didn't like. And that was kind of perfect because I actually already made a video ages ago that was asking you guys which of my least favourite books deserve a second chance. So I went through some of the books I'd rated like 1 and 2 stars and got you guys to comment which ones you thought maybe I should try again. And so from that video I chose 3 books that I'm gonna give a second chance, and these 2 of them were actually suggested by Brittany Newbold. Pretty Is and Garfield A Coma. Pretty Is by Maggie Mitchell. Now this one sounds like a book I should like, but I gave it a 1 star and I can't remember why I gave it a 1 star. Garfield A Coma by Douglas Copeland. I feel like it maybe turned into a zombie book. And Lavender Amethyst said I should give a second chance to Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. So this one, everyone else I know who's read it has loved it. Everyone I know who saw the film loved it. I hated the film and I hated the book. I thought they were shit. So all 3 of these books were books that I just really fully did not enjoy. So I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but you never know. It's happened to me sometimes before where I've hated a book and the second time around I've loved it. So fingers crossed. So this might end up being a really short video because I might DNF all of these a few pages in, or I might end up absolutely loving them. Who knows what the next few weeks are going to be like. But I am committed. I do not want this to turn into another year and a half later finding I still haven't done anything and then I break my hard drive again and lose it. So I'm committed. I'm going to read all 3 of these books in a row from now. So this video should be ready pretty soon to go up. I think I'm going to start with Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. So this is a memory loss thriller, which is a like genre or trope that I really enjoy, or I always say that I really enjoy it, but then like anytime I come across a specific version of it I seem to always hate it. I think I just love the idea of it. I really like the movie Memento and I think I'm always trying to recreate that. I thought this book was pretty stupid when I read it last time around, but let's see what I think now. I'm super tired tonight, so this might not last long, but I'm climbing into bed now with Before I Go to Sleep. Maybe I'll finish it before I go to sleep. But that would be a bad idea because I'm exhausted. I do remember from the last time round I read this, which was at uni, that even though I thought it was really stupid, it's like really gripping. So I do remember just staying up reading this all in one night. Don't do that again, Emma. Not right now. It's a school night. Okay, I'm gonna stop there and go to sleep. Thought so far is one of my pet peeves when books contain like diary entries and they're just written in a way that is so unlike anyone would ever write a diary, and this is so guilty of that. Like such descriptive diary entries with like really long exchanges of dialogue that you just don't, that's not how you write a diary. You do not remember that much detail about your day and write it that way. So that's my #1 problem. And also, this is a totally unhelpful journal. Like, I'm reading this diary in real time and that just took me like an hour basically to read her first 2 entries. So she's saying that her useful way, I haven't explained what this book is about. This is a woman who loses her memory every morning and she writes this diary to help her remember the things that she's learned so far. But like, you gotta write it in notes, lady. You gotta make it useful. She doesn't have time to sit there and read. That was an hour just for the first 2 and it's gonna go on. Like, sit there for hours every morning trying to catch up with her memories. I can already tell this book is gonna cause me a lot of anger. But I'm gonna go to sleep for now and continue that rage in the morning. Oh, this book is driving me insane. Partly just the fact that at the end of literally every journal entry, it's like, and then I came upstairs and wrote this. We get it. It's your journal. Your incredibly unrealistic journal that is not how anyone writes journals. It's driving me so nuts. I'm only halfway through and I'm already so pissed off at it. But I can't stop reading because I vaguely remember the twist, but I can't remember exactly how it plays out. So now I'm just like, I'm into it now. I have to see how it plays out, even though I think it's really stupid. Right, I'm super late for work, like a full nearly half an hour. But me and my ridiculous book are setting off on the train. Nope. That ending was so bad. It was so bad that I've invented a theory about it, which is the only way I'm going to accept this. I've invented like a much darker interpretation of what happened. Otherwise, no. That is just, you cannot wrap something up that quickly and perfectly. No. I guess, what did I have this originally as a 1 star? I would give it a 2 star because it was very readable, even if the whole way through I was like, this is so stupid, this is so stupid. So I'm gonna give it a 2 star, but I am also giving it straight away to charity. I am not reading that one again. Okay, well, it's time for me to take a very long bus journey. I'm going to Herne Hill for filming this morning, so I'm gonna grab the next 1 star book from my list and bring that with me. Okay, this morning we are reading Pretty Ears by Maggie Mitchell. This one is about the kids who got abducted, and then we meet them years later and like find out how that experience affected them, I guess. You know what? I can't lie. I'm really enjoying this book, Pretty Ears. I don't know what my problem with it is. It's really fun and interesting. So basically it's about these 2 young girls who, when they were 12, they were kidnapped, taken to this cabin in the woods, held there by this weird guy for like 2 months, and then they were rescued. Decades later, we meet them as adults. They don't have contact anymore, but one of them has written a novel about her experience, like based on the experience, which has been turned into a movie, and then the other girl has been cast in that movie. So it's like we have these 3 layers. There's like the truth, the book, and the film, and they're all slightly different, and like the names have been changed and certain details have been changed, and it's really interesting. I'm really into it. It's so readable and page turning. So I don't know what my problem was. I'm quite intrigued. Maybe it means there's like a really bad ending, or I'm still like halfway through, so maybe it's gonna get very convoluted and ridiculous, and that's why it became a 1 star. But currently, I'm really enjoying it. I have cold toes because it's an absolutely freezing day, but me and my book are setting off for another journey together. It's Thursday night, which obviously makes everything slightly harder because on Thursday night you're obviously a little bit drunk, but we can do this. We can do this, Emma. I feel like I have quite a Snow White aesthetic going on today, or maybe more like Pasty Little Vampire, I'm not really sure. I did drunk reading last night, which is unhelpful because now I'm not really sure what happened. I picked it up to start reading a little bit before work this morning and was like, I don't remember the last few chapters that I've read, so I might have to go back and read them again. I'm pretty tired and hungover today, which makes things harder. Okay, thoughts on this, just finished it. It is a very anticlimactic ending. So I was enjoying the book the whole way through. I would say like the whole way through I was thinking it was a kind of 3-star read. It's not brilliant, but it's very page turning, it's great fun. That ending was really, really anticlimactic. But I still think I'm gonna give it a 3 stars. It's definitely not a 1. This is Garfield A Coma. This is the one that I kind of suspect is like a zombie book, but I don't know why I think that. It doesn't suggest that at all on the back. So I'm quite intrigued. Maybe I'll end up loving this one now. Let's see. It's so early. I woke up at 5:30 this morning because I gotta be filming somewhere for work really early, and I'm tired. But maybe this zombie book will wake me up. So really quick update on this book because I'm a little bit late for work, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's very, very strange though. So my memory of this was that I liked the first half. I thought it was going to be about this girl who's in a coma for 17 years and then wakes up and has to adjust to her life, and then was like really taken aback by the fact it was this kind of apocalyptic book. But like right from the start, it's very clear that's what it's going to be. Before the girl even goes into the coma, she's having visions, and it's like the whole book is kind of narrated, or the opening of the book is narrated by this ghost who talks about their future that they're going into. Like, it's a very strange, bizarre, surreal book that is dropping a lot of heavy hints that it's going to be a post-apocalyptic novel. So I don't know how this took me by surprise as a teenager, if that even was my issue with it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fucking strange, but I'm very intrigued by where it's gonna go. I am very hungover today, which always makes reading a little bit of a challenge, but I am just over halfway through this book. Still really enjoying it, but I am intrigued what's gonna happen now. So we've got to the point halfway through where his girlfriend wakes up out of her coma, and I feel like at this point there's then gonna be an apocalypse. Like, I kind of had in my head that she was going to wake up into this post-apocalyptic world, but that isn't the case. So I'm like, what's going to suddenly happen? Am I going to suddenly hate this book? I quite like the sort of hints of supernatural stuff, but I'm worried there's going to suddenly be like, I don't think it's zombies. I think maybe there's going to be like an alien invasion or something. I don't really know. But I'm really determined to finish this book today, which is maybe unrealistic because of aforementioned hangover, but I do have an evening in tonight, so maybe I'll just power on through. Because I just want to know. I want to be able to wrap this up and know the answers. What? I do not know what to make of that. I was really genuinely enjoying it. So the book is in 3 parts. Parts 1 and 2 I was really into. It was going to be this real success story of the second chance book that turned out to be a favourite. Part 3, what the actual fuck? I think it was trying to be a kind of morality tale, but I don't really understand what it was saying or why. I'm honestly so baffled by that. But like for totally different reasons than I think that I didn't like it when I was younger. I think when I was younger it's because I didn't like the supernatural element at all. Now, I thought the supernatural element was really cool and interesting. I then just didn't like all of the like moralizing in the last section. I wouldn't read it again now that I've gone through it for the second time. I'm now done with that. What a weird book. What a weird book. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one, and then over the weekend I will film my final thoughts on this whole experiment. Okay, final thoughts of these 3 books. I think I'm downgrading all of them in my mind. So my first reaction when I finished this one was to give it a 2 stars, and that was right. That's exactly where it should be. It wasn't very good. It was gripping and page turning and readable, but it wasn't clever, it wasn't interesting, and the twist was stupid and the ending was stupid and I didn't like it, so it's a 2-star book. This one, Pretty Is, my initial reaction on finishing it this time around was to give it a 3-star, but now having had some time left to think about it, I think that should also go down to a 2-star, which is a shame because I did really enjoy it, and I don't like to rate books just based on their endings, because I think sometimes I read a book, absolutely love it, and then I give it 4 instead of 5 stars because the ending wasn't perfect, but then those are the books that stick with me years later. However, I think there are some cases when a bad ending can affect the overall rating of the book, and I think this is one of those cases. I was really enjoying it the whole way through, but that's because it kept feeling like there was going to be some depth revealed, some twist given, and there just wasn't. The ending was so anticlimactic that looking back on it, I would actively not recommend this book to somebody because the only reason I enjoyed it is because of what I thought was going to happen. Does that make sense? So I think this is also a 2-star rate. And then, using that same logic, this one. So when I first finished this one, I couldn't work out if it should be like a 3-star or a 4-star. Halfway through reading, I'd even thought it might be on track to be a 5-star. Having had some space, guess what? I'm gonna give it a 2 stars. For the same reason, because the ending and what it turned out this book was trying to achieve and like the morals it was trying to convey, I so didn't care about that once again, if I reread this, it would just take away from my enjoyment of the first part because I'd be like, well now I know the whole way through this was what he was trying to do and I don't really like that. Which seems weird for a book that I did enjoy so much of the time to give it a 2-star, but I just really think that ending has ended up clouding my overall perception, and then again for that reason I wouldn't encourage other people to read it because I didn't like what it was trying to achieve. Which means that all of these books are now 2 stars, and to be honest, I had them originally as 1 stars, but the way that I rate books has changed. I now very rarely give out 1-star books. I tend to just use the middle 3 buttons on Goodreads because I actually think rather than trying to figure out exactly the degrees to which you liked a book, you should only ever really use the middle 3. It's either you liked a book, you thought it was okay, or you didn't like a book, so that's like the 4-3-2. I reserve 5 stars for those books that I like desperately want to reread one day, so it's almost like I use the 5 stars just as a little like favourite stuff for myself, a little bookmark to be like, remember this one. And a 1-star I would give out if I thought a book was actively like offensive in some way. And usually I DNF those books anyway, so it's really rare that I get it. Which means that these probably would have been 2-star rounds the first time round if that was the way I used the rating, and they continue to be 2 stars, which is so disappointing. I had in my head that this video was going to be brilliant because I was going to reread it, I was going to hate this one, I was going to quite like this one, and I was going to love this one and be like, wow, moral of the story is that you should definitely reread those books, give them second chances because it might turn out that you actually love them. And that's just not what happened. It turns out the moral of this particular story is you were right the first time, don't even fucking bother. Which is such a shame because when I did my first video asking should I give my books a second chance, alright helicopter, I'm trying to film. What are you doing? He's been going in circles. We're just gonna ignore him. When I made that first video, which I will link to, that was should I give these books a second chance, I talked about some books over the years that I genuinely have initially hated and then reread and loved them. Death of a Salesman was one that I mentioned. I can't remember the others, you'll have to go and watch the video. So I know it's possible, but this experience kind of just puts me off ever trying because it's like none of these really warranted a second read. Though I am I am glad I reread this one, because I think the first time round I probably just like didn't absorb any of it, because I read it when I was very young and just was like, I don't get it. This time around it was a very, very interesting reading experience. So there you go. I guess there has been some good has come of this. So do let me know any books that you have initially hated and then reread and loved, because I want some more hope that it's possible. I want some more reason to not just take this experience and totally give up on it, because I know there's got to be some hidden gems in my 1-star shelf, and maybe I need like a better method of picking the ones to reread. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, even though it was super anticlimactic. Oh my god, I just realised I said that I downgraded these books to 2 stars because the ending clouded the overall video, and now this is what's going to happen. Even if the video was fun throughout it, I've given it an anticlimactic ending, so now you're not going to give it a thumbs up. And now the helicopter's back! So hit that subscribe button for new videos twice every week, and I will see you next time.